Hey guys, welcome back. This is my interview, and here we have Justin today. Justin, introduce yourself.
Hey, I am Justin Paul. I am 17 years old. I go to Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology in Virginia.
Yeah, Joe, we're going to be talking about coronavirus, and we're just going to see a bit of a perspective into how Justin's life has changed in the past few months. Obviously, you guys know there's a lot of stuff happening in the U.S. right now, but I thought it'd be interesting if we just introduced a personal perspective from someone who's actually in the U.S. Actually, I'm in the United Arab Emirates, so I'm quite different from you. So I just like to ask, first off, big general question: what is the biggest impact that coronavirus has had on your life? I'm assuming.
Yeah, um, there's so many different aspects that coronavirus has affected, but yes, definitely the whole social distancing guidelines and how you're not able to communicate. Like you can only communicate online at this point. Our school got cut about 2 weeks before spring break, and then we had some online platforms, similar problems with Zoom, that Zoom was having, which was already going to be a huge change. Um, it posed more difficulties than we
Yeah.
thought.
For the people that you know, are there people that just like ignore the like restrictions and just like meet up with their friends if they want to, or do you feel like it's very restrictive where you are?
Well, there are definitely people who are meeting up, and I don't necessarily think it's bad as long as you're not very close to each other without wearing masks. And it seems for the most part when I'm seeing, so for example, when it's sunny out, I'll go to like tennis courts and I'll hit with my friends,
Yeah.
because okay, it's a way to talk, and it's also you're on the opposite sides of the net.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty easy. But we see a lot of like groups of I would say mostly college students who are coming in who a lot of times don't abide by the mask wearing, and are just like very close. But at the same time, okay, they obviously should be doing it, but at least they're not doing it with large groups. It's like
Yeah.
maybe three or four. So
Okay. So it's not like huge gatherings at least. So that's good.
yeah.
Like, for your family, do you guys put a really high priority on like wiping all your like things? Because there's some like sanitize all their like bags and stuff when they buy. Do you guys do that often, or is it more casual, just like let's not meet with people as much?
I would say on the spectrum, I would say we're definitely kind of in the okay, not caring and caring. We're probably toward the higher, like the middle, but definitely towards the more caring,
Yeah,
careful side.
recently, because like all the protests, there's been like maybe less focus on coronavirus, or like more focus on other things at least. It's definitely still important, but do you feel like it's loosened a bit where people are maybe I can go outside more, even though obviously the situation is getting even worse and worse?
Uh, okay, so with regard to protests, I won't get political and
Yeah,
say like what I think, but I do think it's evident that there's a problem, that there are protests going on, and there definitely shouldn't be. It seems that we're kind of forgetting. The protests obviously have meaning, and evidently their voices they want them to get heard, and as
yeah,
it should be, but there needs to be at least some concern for a pandemic going on.
definitely.
It makes a greater concern.
So for us, because we're both 11th graders, right? Or we're both about to apply to university, it's such a big deal for us because I saw recently, I think like UPenn, really high tier universities are like SATs are optional. A lot of things are becoming optional now because some people just can't access it. How do you feel like the coronavirus is going to change like the college application scene?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like the coronavirus it has direct effects and has a lot of indirect effects
Yeah.
just because of what's happening. My sister goes to UVA. I don't know if you know, and she just heard from the what do you call it, the council or the
Yeah.
administration that they are going to be offering almost every class in person with an online substitute for people who want to
Oh,
take it.
really?
Almost, so that's yeah. She told me that it shows that they're caring. It shows like an initiative. I think it is the right direction. You also mentioned like score optional, like SAT, ACT score
Yeah.
optional. I have it's especially for a high school student to speculate on something like this. I would say it's impossible to know. Not taking scores, they won't hurt you, but taking them, it's unclear if it gives you an advantage or it's unclear.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to speculate in that regard.
Yeah. For your sister, like how big of a change has it been for her regarding what you know?
like huge. It seems a huge difference. Obviously, I can't say for the on campus, like what's going on there. Her professor would do the lab and she would record what he's doing, which kind of defeats the purpose of the lab.
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange. It seems there's a lot of repercussions to having online learning.
A lot of systems are unprepared, especially for something like as impactful as this.
There's a good point of this that you were just saying. So I'll give an example. So I'm in Fairfax County.
Yeah.
They recently just did a program called FCPS On, where they're giving laptops to like pretty much all the students.
Oh wow.
And okay, and FCPS had a lot of problems with unrolling online distance learning.
Yeah.
This isn't meant as a jive toward FCPS. They're obviously like one of the biggest counties in the whole U.S. and they have a lot of concerns that they're dealing with. But it just goes to show the magnitude of the problem. Like how, even as prepared as they were by doing all these laptops and stuff, it shows how problematic it is that even they weren't well prepared enough to do. The main draw of it would be, so for SOLs, if you remember SOLs, we would use our own laptops instead of those in the cart or something like that. It doesn't feel like conventional school. Turn off our audio and video because of potential broadband issues in 25-person classrooms.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at our teacher and they're giving their lesson or whatever, and it's very ominous. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Because they're just talking for, okay, my teacher's done a good job about breaking up the 45 minutes, so it's not just lecture for 45 minutes straight. Yeah. They've done a good job. I think they definitely rehearsed or practiced some ways to kill time, or try to make people jump in. Like sometimes I'll ask, okay, who knows the answer to this or whatever, type answers in the chats or whatever.
If I had to ask you, what's one thing you would want people to maybe do more, or one thing you feel like people should be more aware of for the coronavirus? Just one big thing that you think still exists.
Okay, so I'm not, obviously masks, and you can see from WHO and CDC kind of guidelines they've said, masks are very important. I have to say, though, comparing masks and separation of like 6 feet or whatever, I really think social distancing has to be kind of the biggest issue or problem, concern to think about. You need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, because there's certain aspects you can change, like maybe you can make your homemade masks, or maybe if you're in what you consider higher risk, maybe you get a store-bought mask, which maybe is gives more protection. I feel there's kind of an ignorance to that, or maybe just turning a blind eye towards in that regard.
Probably. I think it's a combination of both. Like there's definitely some people that just don't understand it, as we've seen through like people who cut holes. Like obviously that's just counterproductive. I don't know why people would think that. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.